God, I wish someone would look at me like that.
I always need a glass of wine by sundown. I always get your ass over here somehow.
Like, is you coming home? Did you ever hurt? I don't care long as you here by 10:30, no later than drop them drugs.
Right, boys and girls, it is that time again on this channel where we are going to sit, we're going to talk, we're going to share some advice, we're going to have a good time, okay? The wine has been poured, as it always is in these videos. I asked you guys on Instagram for some topics, some questions, some things that you want advice on. I had such good feedback on this previous video, this kind of like let's talk video that I did recently. So glad that you guys kind of like enjoy listening to me give advice, appreciated my advice, liked my advice, that kind of thing. So I am here, mother hen, to give more advice. That being said, I'm gonna get on my Instagram. If you don't follow me, it's just @Renee. Go and follow me, okay? Okay, I'm gonna keep everything anonymous as well. I realize a lot of people always ask to be anonymous and I don't ever mention names in these videos either because I know a lot of this is personal stuff. So first question, when is it the right time to take the next steps with a guy, as in moving in, getting engaged, etc.? I honestly think it depends from person to person and couple to couple. Like, some people will move in really quickly together, some people get married really quickly together. Well, obviously together, what am I talking about? Some people get married really quickly, some people move in really fast. Like, it honestly just depends on your kind of like boundaries, what you're comfortable doing, what your partner's comfortable doing. Like, it really is just kind of what you're comfortable as a team. Everything I feel like in life is kind of, once you're in a relationship, like, you're just a team and you kind of have to talk about things together. Like, if you really want to move in and he's not ready yet, then you kind of have to like respect that and wait a little bit. But maybe also talk about why they're not ready or they don't feel ready, or, you know, if there's any issues. Like, what did I say in my last video, guys? Communication is so important in any relationship. Like, it's really important to talk often about things like this if you want to. Yeah, I would just say whenever you feel ready. Like, don't feel like you're doing anything too quick, and definitely don't feel like you're doing anything too slow, especially if you've got friends that are getting engaged or moving in with partners or whatever. Just do everything at your own time, and whatever's meant to be will be. That is like my motto in life. I just think whatever is meant to be will happen, and everything happens for a reason and all of that good stuff. So don't stress about it too much, and don't worry, just, you know, enjoy your time with your partner. Okay, I've been with my boyfriend for over 2 years and sometimes I feel bored. Is this normal? I had a couple of questions like this actually. I screenshotted a really similar one that just said that they've been together a while but they didn't get as excited anymore, and they were just like still happy to be together but just didn't have that like spark as such anymore. And honestly, I think it depends again from person to person. I feel like some people are really like emotional people, if that makes sense, and some people really fall in love and they become like really besotted with their partner and like really just into and obsessed with their partner or whatever. Like, some people are just very emotional like that and other people aren't. But at the same time, I would say there are some boundaries. Like, I know from personal experience, there's been times where I've really like really thank you, really like fallen in the deep end with someone, and I know that I get that excited feeling. Like, I know that I get like butterflies and stuff, or whatever you're gonna call it. There's that spark there and that like chemistry and that energy and stuff. And I think it depends as well what stuff was like at the start of your relationship, because say if you really had that feeling to begin with and it's kind of fizzled out now, then maybe that's something that shouldn't be a thing. But at the same time, like, I remember having this conversation with Jake Jamie, a really good friend of mine who's also obviously a beauty influencer on Instagram. We were talking all about like relationships and that kind of stuff back in like the end of last year. And it is, at the end of the day, like, long-term relationships, you're not gonna have like that same butterfly, like excited feeling, nervous feeling forever, because you get to know someone and you get comfortable around them. But I think it's still important to make effort with each other, get excited about each other, still like have days where you treat it as if it's like the first time and you go out for dinner or you do something really unexpected or something that you wouldn't usually do. I think that's the key to like keeping that like spark going to some degree. But I think it depends on person to person. It depends on you and your feelings. I think you will know in your heart if you are either in something or you're not, because I have very much been in that position where, I don't know, things have kind of just like they're just not the same as they used to be, and you kind of know that, and you know that feeling in yourself, and you just have to be honest with yourself and your partner if that is the case. So don't worry too much. Like, as long as you're still making effort with each other and you're still getting like somewhat excited. I think if you feel like it's a problem, make more effort and maybe speak to whoever you're with and just say, look, I feel like we don't kind of get as excited about each other anymore, and you know, we should make more effort or whatever, and just see where that goes. Okay, someone said, how are you so confident and loving of yourself? You always seem to radiate confidence and charisma. Thank you, because honestly, like, I mean, it's funny because when people say that to me, I don't always class myself as a confident person or as someone that like really loves myself. I definitely feel like this year I've made more efforts like take care of myself and love myself and like, I don't know, appreciate who I am and know my worth, I guess. But I don't know. I always never know how to answer that, because to me, like, I don't always seem that way. Maybe just know that I'm not always super confident, and I have days where I definitely like doubt myself and don't feel like myself and, you know, don't love myself. But I think as people, we all just need to learn to be like kinder to ourselves and like know our own worth and stuff, because everyone, like, as long as you're a kind person and stuff, everyone is always, you know, wonderful in their own way and whatever. And I think you just have to appreciate that about yourself. I saw a really interesting quote on Instagram the other day, and I can't exactly remember what the quote was, but it was kind of the whole idea of like, we are our own worst critic and we are like the harshest on ourselves compared to anyone else. And I think the sooner you realize that, the sooner you kind of like learn to be kinder to yourself, which is just so important. Surround yourself with good people as well. I have to say, I always feel like better and more confident and more myself when I know I'm around good people and people that genuinely care about me. I also know that I'm not always confident, and I'm also sometimes that person in a room where I just stand there like, hello, because like I get really shy. Like, that's one thing about me, I do get really shy. I don't think many people know that about me. I can be super quiet, I can be super awkward. I'm not always like super loud and bubbly or whatever. Like, I have my moments as well. So yeah. How do I stop myself from being tempted to text my ex who I broke up with? Oh, this is hard because I don't know the circumstances under why you broke up with him, but for me this is really simple. Like, honestly, just delete his number, block him, do whatever you have to do to make sure that you're not tempted. And I feel like just remember as well, like, the reasons why you split up with him. Like, if there's a specific reason, for example, just kind of keep that at like the forefront of your mind, and then you won't be tempted. Maybe see it from his side as well. Like, if you're the one that split up with him, maybe just like be considerate for his feelings. Like, as long as you're thinking about him and the fact that it would mess with his mind, like, just know that that wouldn't be fair on him. And I feel like, again, that would be enough to make you not want to do that, because you don't want to mess with someone's feelings, you know what I mean? You don't want to mislead someone or be like, I don't know, deceiving or whatever and give them the wrong impression. So just think about yourself, the reasons why you split up from that relationship, so I'm guessing there's a reason. And just know that, like, you know, you would also be doing him a disservice to kind of like give him the wrong impression. So keep looking forward, don't look back, you know? What's the saying? I don't know. Just keep looking forward, okay? Have you ever had a job you hated? And if so, what was it? Yes, I did have a job that I completely, I mean, to be honest, like, all of my previous jobs have definitely had their moments. Even like doing this as a job sometimes like has its moments, but I absolutely love what I do now. The first job that like came to mind when I read this question was when I used to work in bank, which if anyone used to work for like, or if anyone now works for like JD or used to work for bank when that was open, it's actually shut down now, like as a company or whatever. They were basically owned by JD, and honestly, it was my first job as a like resale person, like a sales assistant, and it was the most like stressful, just like frustrating job, because the managers and the supervisors and just the staff, not all the staff in general, like the other sales assistants were really lovely and I actually made some really good friends there, but the management were just horrible, like so horrible, like just really nasty, really like took advantage, really just like took the piss, to be honest, because they knew that we were all super young and it was our first job and we were just going to kind of like go along with whatever and say yes to whatever and do whatever they asked. They would just keep us really late, or they just ask us to do more than what we should, or do you know what I mean? They just like really kind of took the piss, and they were quite degrading sometimes as well. Like, there was one manager in particular that like, it was just so horrible to me, but then the next day would be so lovely to me. Like, it was the weirdest situation. Like, he'd really shout at me sometimes for the stupidest things and like literally threaten to fire me. And then the next day he'd come in and he'd be like, oh, Hannah, like, do you want to help me like organize the shoes and stuff? And I'd be like, no, I don't want to fucking help you organize the shoes. It was just so weird. Like, he was just such an odd character with me, and I just really didn't enjoy my time there, but I stuck it out because it was my first job and I wanted the money. I wanted like the, what's the word, like the experience for like future jobs and stuff. I actually went straight from there to Miss Selfridge, which actually ended up being one of my favourite jobs, to be honest, working at Miss Selfridge, because I loved my team and like the staff there. How do you deal with negative energy from other girls doing what you do? Honestly, just like doesn't even cross my mind. Like, I feel like I'm quite lucky in the sense that I don't really have issues or whatever with like people in this industry or whatever, but just knowing there are people like that or whatever, it just doesn't cross my mind. It's not something I get involved with. It's not something that I think about. Like, it's just not me. Like, I'm not that kind of girl. I'm not that kind of girl that gets involved in drama. I'm not the kind of girl that like wants to be bitchy or do this or do that. Like, it's just not me. I just stay in my lane, stay with my friends, you know. And I feel like I've got a really good group of friends, especially in this industry. Like, yeah, I just feel really lucky to know who I know, and you know, we're not here for that. We're not here for the negativity. But if you are someone that experiences that, or even just in everyday life, like doesn't have to be in an industry like this, like just at school or whatever, just distance yourself. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. And stuff like that always like fizzles out anyway. So yeah, I just ignore it. I've broken up with my boyfriend and all of a sudden he's become obsessed with me. This isn't men in a nutshell. I tell you, like, they always want what they can't have. Same, do you know what? Same with anyone. Like, people always want what they can't have. Like, it's the most frustrating thing. You know, just be like, if this is the case and he's like all of a sudden really interested because you kind of distanced yourself and been like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Just be like, where was this energy when we were together? Okay, where was this energy then? I feel like there's a quote that I read once about how when you're in a relationship, you should both be doing and putting in the same amount of energy in the relationship as you did to win and get the person in the first place. So from day dot, you should be putting in the same amount of effort, the same amount of energy to that person, giving them your time and stuff as you did when you were trying to win them over in the first place. That is important. How do I date when I'm a virgin and I want to keep it that way? I think this is quite simple. I think just date as any person would, and you know, maybe if that's something that you're really open about and you want to speak about, then by all means speak to whoever you're dating about it. Like, you know, that it's totally fine. I think there's always this kind of like, you know, everyone kind of has a closed door on like having sex and if you should have sex, if you shouldn't have sex, and like even just talking about sex, like it's sometimes a bit of a taboo thing. But if you want to talk about it and you want to let someone know that, then fine. But also if you don't want to let someone know and you just want to not sleep with them, then also like you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. And that's so important to know. You don't owe anyone anything. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to get yourself into any situations that you don't want to be in. Know your worth, know what you want, and don't feel like you have to do anything to please someone else or to just like go along with something for the sake of it. Like, you know you and what you want to do, and that's all that matters. What's it like having to sort all of your own tax and finances? Girl, let me tell you, okay, it is stressful. There have been times where I've cried. There have been times where I've been very confused and had no idea what I'm doing, for sure. Like, it's all part and parcel of running a business or having a business, I guess. But it's worth it. It's worth it because I love what I do. I wouldn't change it for anything. And even though it is stressful and it's like frustrating and confusing and half the time I don't really get it, but I kind of do get it now. It's one of the things that you kind of pick up along the way. It's worth it and it's all good. What is your advice on taking a break during a relationship? If we have learned anything from Ross and Rachel, boys and girls, it is to define what is a break, okay? Because I don't necessarily agree with breaks. It's not something that I could see doing myself. Like, I just think at the end of the day, if it's not working, it's not working. And if it's got to the point where you're even thinking about spending time apart, I think maybe it's time to just go separate ways. Like, if you've tried everything, you've tried all sorts of different things, like making more effort, like, I don't know, going away together, doing whatever, like to kind of make things work, and it's still not working and you're actually considering it, then for me that would just be time to like call it a day. But if you're someone that wants to have a break and you're both on the same page and that's what you both want, define the rules of having a break. Because is it going to be a break where you're actually single for a bit? Is it going to be a break where you're still together but you just don't speak to each other and you don't spend time together? Is it going to be a break where you're not together but you speak once a week and just check in on each other? Have you got like a time frame for this break? Like, I would just have so many questions. Like, it's just not something that I could do because I'm way too like, I don't know, like something like that would just freak me out a bit, I think. But you know, if it's something that you want to do, then by all means go for it, and just know where you stand with each other. I think that's my issue. Like, I always have to know where I stand with someone, so I would just have so many questions about like what a break is. Okay, someone said, talk about the stigma around women having casual sex or lots of sex. If there's one thing I feel like we've all learned recently with like just us as women in general, with like the whole situation with abortion laws and all of that in America, like everything that's going on, if there's one thing that we know as women, I feel like we just cannot win. And it's so frustrating. I feel like you can get penalized for not having sex, you can get penalized for having too much sex, you can get penalized for having sex with, you know, someone that you're not with. Like this is so, like, as a woman, you really can't do anything right when it comes to like your body and having sex, like, unfortunately. But I just think, like, woman to women, you do whatever's gonna make you happy with your body, with people, with whatever. Like, you just do what makes you happy, but just be aware that you are doing things for you and not to like please someone else, not to impress someone else, not because you're doing it for the sake of it, not because there's something you want to gain from it or whatever. Just do it for like the right reasons, I guess, and because you genuinely want to and that's what you want to do. As long as you are happy and you're making your own decisions and those decisions are for you and for no one else, you know, you do you. Hey Han, I've been played by a guy who had a girlfriend and I don't know what to do. How do I get over it? Girl, again, I have been there, okay? Believe it or not, I have been there. I have situations about guys that you honestly would not believe, let me tell you. Again, as I've said in previous videos, when it comes to getting over someone, it's just a case of time. Distract yourself, keep yourself busy, spend time with your friends, your family, spend time around people that you care about that are really going to boost you and just make you feel good about yourself. And learn to be happy by yourself as well. That's obviously really important too. But I think just keeping yourself busy, looking forwards, maybe like plan some things, like get some stuff planned in to like get excited about and like take your mind off it. You know, just do you and just be happy and stuff. Like, learn to be happy like for yourself. And also like just be grateful that you're not his girlfriend. Like, if there's one thing I can say, just be grateful that you're in the situation where you are not the girlfriend, because I dread to think like how that must feel as a girl. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, I kind of get how it feels as a girl because I've been in situations like that too, but honestly, like, just be glad that you're aware of it now. It could have been a lot worse. And you know, just try and see the positives in it. Try and like take what you've learned from it and just, you know, see it as a lesson, see it as a time in your life that is now done with. Spend some time like with yourself, with your friends, with your family, and just, you know, try and move forward. What is your view on saving yourself for marriage? Again, like, I just don't really have opinions on these types of things because I just think everyone's entitled to do what they want to do. Like, if that's you and you don't want to have, you know, sex before getting married, I think that's totally fine. Like, there's, you know, I'm sure a lot of people like that, a lot of people that make that decision, and I think it's totally fine and something that should be respected if that's what it is. Yeah, I think it's totally fine. I think if anything, like, you know, it's great. It's a thing to be respected and all of that, and, you know, I think if that's what you want to do, it's all good. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there this time. I feel like I've been speaking for a good 45 minutes, so this is going to be interesting to edit, but I really hope you've all enjoyed this video. Thank you for everyone who sent me a question or a topic or any advice or whatever. I'm sending all of you my love. I hope you're all well, because honestly, there was some interesting things in there at that time. So, you know, as long as you're all looking after yourselves and all of that good stuff, then, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you kind of know what I'm trying to say. I'm going to get going anyway. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you guys to the moon and back, and I will see you in the next one.